Is this wide enough, sir? Wider. How about now? Wider. He's crazy. What should I do?
Just make it the stupidest, widest screen you've ever seen.
Okay. How about now, sir? It's perfect. So about 2 months ago, I bought a new computer. Well, a used computer on good old Craigslist. And part of the deal I got included this absolute unit of a monitor, the Samsung G9. It is a 49-inch super ultra-wide monitor with an aspect ratio of 32:9. Yeah, double the width of the common 16:9 that we're all used to. You might notice it's curved as well. That's supposedly to match the curvature of the human eye, which increases the amount of screen you can see without straining your eyes. I would never in my life have considered buying something like this on its own, but now that I have it, well, that's what I want to talk about today. Is a super ultra-wide monitor actually as good as you would hope that it is? Or is this just another example of tech going too far just so some people can say, well, mine's bigger than yours? Let's get into it right now. At the time of this recording, this monitor is on sale for $1,099 US, but usually sells for $14.99 or $19.99 Canadian. That's a lot of dough. Just so you know, I bought this complete computer setup, which is an Alienware 11th gen Intel i7. I got everything together for 2,200 Canadian or about $16.50 US. Used, these monitors can still sell for around or over $1,000. Not a monitor for your average person, that's for sure. So what's it like using it? Well, it's quite the experience, let me tell you. There's still so many little things I'm not used to a couple months later. Like for example, on a normal size monitor, I love having the corners set for quick actions, which I could click on instantly. Start button in the lower left, desktop minimize in the lower right. You know where the recycling bin is? This monitor is so big that it actually slows me down having to shift my eyes from one side to the other. So I actually now have to put the start button in the middle. I've become what I hate. And while Windows 11 has some really cool ways to arrange the programs, still, when you full screen an app, it's just too big. Then sometimes when you try and adjust the size, well, I spend a lot of time adjusting windows around. But once you get it set up, it's pretty darn cool. I primarily got this so I could edit videos on. I usually have my editing program in the middle, Photoshop on the right, then my chat program on the left, so I can keep everything open and still be productive. I mean, that's the point of a giant monitor like this, right? A lot of people in their jobs use multiple displays, and this gets rid of at least a second monitor, and it does it in a way that makes the workstation look really impressive. And that's worth something. Your workstation needs to be a place where you don't dread being. I've spent a lot of time and energy lately optimizing my workstation, finding pieces that are ergonomic with a nice minimal design, yet are functional and speed up my workflow. As far as the size of the monitor goes for a workstation, it can be really useful. Although, if you don't have lots of things open at once, then it's overkill. It just is. I often just have Chrome web browser open or even just my video editing. When that's open alone, full screened, it's too big. So I could see how this monitor wouldn't be for everyone. Then there's gaming though, and that's where this bad boy really shines. Holy guacamole. A lot of games nowadays allow you to play them in a 32:9 aspect ratio, and my gosh, it looks absolutely bonkers. With the RTX 3080 driving this thing, I mean, you won't be able to actually tell in this YouTube video as I shoot my YouTube videos at 30 frames per second, but I'm getting 80 to 100 frames per second on new games with ultra settings. And when you sit in the right spot with this monitor, it's just bananas. It alone, paired with the video card, has revitalized my love for gaming. I haven't PC gamed in 10, 15 years, but now it's all I want to do. Pair up some decent headphones. It's so immersive. It just makes me truly experience gaming in a way that I've never experienced before. It's awesome. In fact, I reviewed the Xbox Series X and that thing is great, but I don't even use that anymore. Game Pass works on the PC, and when I want a game, this is where I want to do it. I mean, the monitor itself is a gaming monitor. It has G-Sync and FreeSync, so it pairs up with your graphics card. It has a 240 Hz refresh rate with a 1 millisecond response time. It's a QLED panel with HDR10+, so while it's no OLED screen, the colors look great. I have no complaints there. And sure, it would be great if it got a little brighter or a little darker, but that's reflected in the price. If you want OLED, you have to pay for OLED. I do not want to have to pay for that. The stand is surprisingly versatile, which is nice, although I wish it went a teensy bit higher. Ultimately, I think I will wall mount it or at least get a desk arm, but we're moving soon, so I'm gonna wait to do that. Now there is a newer, more expensive version of the G9 called the Neo, which has an HDMI 2.1 port instead of the 2.0, as well as it does get a little brighter and darker. But I think this one is still great unless you're really hardcore. With a monitor this size, you really notice how things were originally created for smaller monitors when you use it. Like when you watch shows or YouTube, you get the black bars on either side. And while a lot of games let you play at full screen, not all of them do. So you have to play with those black bars on either side. You get used to it just fine. It's just something to note. Now it also has built-in speakers, USB ports, multiple inputs. It even has an LED in the back, which you can change. And that stuff is all cool, but at the end of the day, it comes down to user experience versus the cost. So should you ever consider a super ultra wide 49-inch monitor? Is this thing cool? And does it blow people's minds when I give them a tour of my office? Yes. Is it necessary? No. But I guess that's part of why it's so cool, is because it's not necessary, but it is really useful. Sometimes when you are in the zone, multitasking, utilizing the entire space, it's great. And when you are gaming on this thing in a game that pushes every pixel, it's a wild ride. However, this is not a monitor for your average Joe. This is for the dad who wants to flex because he loves 6 screens and bragging about them. This is for the person who wants to game like a boss and get totally lost in the experience. And this is for the person who needs multiple programs open all at once for their job. For those people, this monitor is absolutely ludicrous and totally worth the cost. But for everybody else, it's just too much. I would say save your money. It's hard to fit this giant monitor on a normal desk, and you need a powerful computer to drive this thing to take advantages of the features like the refresh rate. You could spend a lot less on a more common size monitor and still be very happy. Am I going to keep mine? Yeah. I mean, I could sell it and make a few bucks, but whenever I walk into the room and see this, it sparks joy. And I like that. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the likes, the subs, and the comments. And maybe watch this video next, or check out this one. We'll see you next time on The Sad Studio.